Banned books are books that have been officially removed from libraries, schools, or other public places due to objections or restrictions from authorities. These objections often stem from content deemed inappropriate, controversial, or offensive. In the 2023 to 2024 school year, 44% of banned books included characters or people of color, and 39% included LGBTQ plus characters or people. In the era of the 2025 Trump administration, it is more important now than ever that we talk about banned books. Welcome back to my channel. My name's Marissa, and I like to talk about books and book design. Today, we have a little bit more of a serious video. Although book banning has existed in some form for centuries, the recent rise in attacks on education, free speech, and marginalized communities has made it more prevalent than ever. If you feel like you've been hearing more about book bans recently than ever before, it's probably because 70% of the groups pushing book bans have only been formed since 2021. These groups are often formed by conservative, right-wing parental movements like Moms for Liberty. These groups gained more momentum as a result of Trump's first term in office. Unfortunately, it looks like things are only going to get worse from here. With the Trump administration back in power, things are shifting dramatically. Under a platform driven by Project 2025, there are concerted efforts to reshape America's education system for the worse. Essentially, Project 2025 aims to cut funding of public education, weaken the influence of higher learning institutions, and rewrite curriculum to fit a more conservative agenda. This means that subjects like science, history, literature, particularly books that challenge their ideologies, are all at risk. One of the most concerning aspects of this project is the systemic targeting of LGBTQ plus communities. Queer books are increasingly being thought of as a threat. Books that talk about gender identity, sexual orientation, and the lived experiences of LGBTQ plus individuals are being labeled as dangerous or un-American in some cases. But here's the thing. These books are vital. They provide representation, teach empathy, and foster understanding. So when we see these books being banned or pulled out of classrooms, it's more than just an inconvenience. It's a direct attack on a marginalized community that needs these stories more now than ever. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of these books that are currently being banned are focused on or centered around stories of people of color. Books like The Hate You Give, Beloved, and I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter are just a few examples. These books tell stories of Black, Latinx, Indigenous, and other communities of color, often addressing racism, inequality, and the struggle for justice. When books like these are banned, it's not just about protecting youth from uncomfortable truths. It's about silencing the lived experiences of these marginalized communities. It's no secret that people of color are often erased from mainstream narratives. When books like these are removed from classes, it sends a powerful message that their voices don't matter, that their histories aren't worth learning about, and that their struggles don't deserve to be understood. For marginalized students, seeing themselves represented in literature is a lifeline. It validates their emotions and their experiences. For non-marginalized students, these books are essential for learning about the world outside of their immediate experiences. They challenge bias, they encourage empathy, and they dismantle stereotypes. Silencing the discussion about race does not make racism go away. In fact, it does the opposite. When you take away the ability to learn about systemic injustice, you take away the ability to fix it. I want to encourage you not only to read banned books, but to purchase physical copies of banned books. Buying books is inherently a political act. When you own a physical copy of these books, you become the keeper of the forbidden knowledge. That's why media preservation is so important. Stephen King is kind of a freak, but I think this tweet of his from 2023 is more prevalent today. Hey kids, it's your old buddy Steve King telling you that if they ban a book in your school, haul your ass to the nearest bookstore or library ASAP and find out what they don't want you to read. Here's a list of banned or challenged books that I think are crucial to read in today's political climate. The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. Banned because of its depiction of police violence and systemic racism. Critics have claimed it promotes anti-police sentiments and encourages distrust in law enforcement. Banning this book does not make police brutality go away. 1984 by George Orwell, criticized for its themes of totalitarianism and government control, which some believe could encourage rebellious or anti-government sentiments. Its depiction of surveillance, police corruption, and oppression are just as important today. The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. Banned for its themes of reproductive rights, gender roles, and critiques of religious extremism. It's often challenged for its graphic depiction of sexual violence and its portrayal of a dystopian society that some believe could inspire political activism or rebellion. Simon versus the Homo sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. Banned for its portrayal of a gay relationship, which some critics believe could encourage non-heteronormative behavior. The story follows a gay teenager navigating high school and coming out. That's it. That's all it took for it to be banned. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Banned for its racial themes and offensive language. Some have objected to the use of racial slurs or the depiction of racism in the American South, even though it's widely thought of as an anti-racist work. The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. Criticized for its sexual content, drug use, and homosexuality. This is a novel about a shy teenager dealing with mental health and identity issues. Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. Ironically, this book about censorship has been banned due to its portrayal of book banning and censorship. Critics object to the portrayal of free speech, book banning, and government control over knowledge. Little Fish by Casey Plett. This is a novel about a trans woman named Wendy who is navigating life in the aftermath of loss. It has been challenged for its focus on the lived experiences of a transgender woman and the personal and social struggles of transitioning. Critics argue that its LGBTQ+ themes may be inappropriate for some readers. Just want to take this moment to remind everyone that trans people exist. They have always existed, no matter what any executive order says. The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros. This is a coming-of-age story told through vignettes of a young Latina girl growing up in Chicago. It has been challenged for its portrayal of sexuality, poverty, and gender roles. Some critics have objected its use of explicit language and the portrayal of sensitive topics such as sexual abuse and domestic violence. The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie. This book, which features the life of a young Native American boy, has been banned due to its portrayal of poverty, alcoholism, racism, and sexual content. Some critics argue that the raw portrayal of Native American life and struggles may be offensive or inappropriate to some readers. Full transparency, I haven't read all of these books, but the ones I haven't read are on my TBR. I encourage you all to read these books, talk about these books, share these books, and talk about bans whenever they occur. It's so important to be vocal, be active, and remind people that access to information is a fundamental right. If you want to learn more about book bans, I've linked all of my sources in the description below. Also, my friend Emily from Once Upon an Emily Reads made a really excellent video about book bans a few months back, so I'm going to link that in the cards and in the description below for you to find. The more we read, the more we grow. And the more we grow, the harder it becomes to control our voices. So let's speak out, and with our books in hand. I really want to continue this conversation, and I don't mean to freak anyone out, but honestly, I am a little freaked out myself. I hope I look back on this video and I'm able to laugh at how much of an overreaction it was, but I think things are just really weird right now, and we don't know that for sure. So please feel free to share your thoughts with me in the comments below and let me know if there's anything else I missed. With that, signing off, and I hope to see you in the next one.